Welcome to Accent on Education. My name is Laura Hoover, and I am the Culpeper County Public Schools Director of Communication. Today, we will be talking about our federal pandemic relief funding. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, Culpeper County Public Schools has received approximately $21 million in pandemic relief funding. In the beginning, in March 2020, the funds were used for things such as emergency child care for our healthcare workers and first responders. And as we started to come back to school, cleaning supplies and masks and personal protective equipment. And now as we've transitioned back to school, funds are used to help a safe return to learning for our students, which includes all areas: academics, unfinished learning, and also our students' social emotional well-being. One of the things that we've added to help support our students is a Dean of Students position in our high schools. And today, we're going to meet our high school Deans of Students. I'd like to welcome Jennifer Godtring, Dean of Students at Eastern View High School, and Doray Walker, Dean of Students at Culpeper County High School. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. So I think the first thing that would help us to know, since this is a new position, what is a Dean of Students? What did you sign up for in this position?
Sure. So I think we have different roles based on the needs of each of our schools. But at Eastern View, I work a lot with tardies in attendance, the dress code issues that we have been facing, and a lot of supervision and needs in that area.
Okay.
And at Culpeper County High School, I also work with your morning tardies, your to-class tardies. I also help with attendance as needed, cell phone issues, as well as dress code violations, and then supervision throughout the day. And then anytime a teacher needs an assistance, I help with that, as well as being a coach to our teachers, because that's a strength of mine. So I can help our teachers be that extra layer for our assistant principals, so that I can help them with their lesson planning, their grade book, coaching, so that they can be successful with their students in the classroom.
That's excellent. Now I know that you both mentioned dress code, cell phones, and attendance. I know those were things that got very difficult for us during the pandemic. And I know this year, coming back into what we were hoping to be a normal year for our kids, those have been things that we've focused on. So that makes sense that those are things that you all are working on in your new role. So that's excellent. So Jennifer, tell us, what is your background that led you to applying for a Dean of Students position?
Sure. So my first job out of college was in Culpeper County, where I taught art for 7 years over at Eastern View, and I'm working on my master's. I graduate in November for educational leadership, and so I was encouraged by my administrators last year to apply for the position, and here I am.
That's great. And Doray, how about you?
So I started my my job career as a music therapist, and I worked in Roanoke, Virginia, and then I switched over to teaching to have a little more time with my own sons. And then I taught in Roanoke City Public Schools for 3 years on the elementary level, and then came to Culpeper, and I've worked here in Culpeper now. This is my 21st year. I've been encouraged for a number of years here in Culpeper to become an administrator. So I decided to go for the Dean of Students first and get my experience as an administrator. So here I am.
That's excellent. So it's a good path if you're looking to become an assistant principal or a principal someday.
Yes.
That's great. So let's talk about a typical day in the life of a CCPS high school Dean of Students. What does your day look like when you walk in the door until when you head out?
Well, for myself at Culpeper County High School, my day's never the same. The only thing that I can say is the same is that I have car duty in the morning, lunch duty in the middle of the day, and car duty at the end of the day. I do tardy. I see students because they're tardy, but I get to do all different kinds of things, which makes the day go by quickly. I get to talk to parents, I talk to students, I talk to teachers, and that just makes the day fly by.
Okay, how about at Eastern View?
I have to agree that the days are never the same and they fly by. At Eastern View, it's a little different, but not very much so. I have duty in the morning at where the students' entrance. In the afternoon, I am at parent pickup, helping get kids home safely. And then throughout the day, I'm at lunch. I see students for tardies. I assist if there's something that comes over the radio and a teacher needs help. I'm sometimes the first one there. So every day is different, but I'm learning a lot and it's a good experience.
Well, that's great. So the last thing I want to talk about is what's happening at your schools this fall. What are some of the exciting things that are going on at Eastern View and Culpeper High School this fall?
Well, we have homecoming coming in a few weeks, and in 2 weeks we have the second weekend in October. We have homecoming, and then we have academic letter jackets. The students who get all A's in their senior year, they can get an academic letter jacket.
That's great.
The 1st of October. And that's an evening event where parents can put the jacket on their child. We also have Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to bring that to a culmination with an assembly. What about you all?
So we also have homecoming. Ours is next weekend. We'll have the football game Friday night and then the dance on Saturday on October 1st. We're also celebrating Hispanic Heritage with a week-long event coming up soon. The letter jackets as well. Not quite sure the date that we're doing ours and recognizing those students, but I know we're planning something. It's in the works.
Well, it sounds great. It sounds like there are a lot of great things going on in our high schools, and we are so grateful to you guys for providing an extra layer of support for our students and staff through this new Dean of Students position. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
We'll be right back with more Accent on Education.
Welcome. We would like to take this opportunity to share information about a workshop being held by Culpeper County Public Schools, the Office of Special Education, and the Parent Resource Center, being held on Saturday, October 15th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Culpeper County High School. This workshop will provide information and interactive opportunities on self-advocacy and accessing the Americans with Disabilities Act and IEPs from birth through adulthood. The presenters will have a deaf and hard of hearing focus, but the workshop will benefit all individuals. Anyone with questions regarding ADA and IEPs are encouraged to come and join us. Both ASL and English interpreters will be provided for everyone. We look forward to creating a community and a connection within our community. This is a family-friendly event and childcare will be provided. If you have any questions and want to register, please email Kim Bledsoe at kbledsoe@ccpsweb.org. Thank you.
Welcome back to Accent on Education. Continuing with our topic of federal pandemic relief funds, joining us now is Principal of Yowell Elementary, Angie Fiscus. Welcome.
Good morning, Laura.
Thank you so much for being here today. Wanted to get an idea of how you're seeing the federal pandemic relief funds play out in the elementary school. I know a big concern from the pandemic has been unfinished learning because students were virtual, they were only able to come to school a couple days a week. So one of the things that CCPS has used our funding for was a program called Summer Academy. So tell me about the Summer Academy program at Yowell.
Absolutely. And you're exactly right. There was a learning loss. Some students never missed a beat. They were very engaged at home. Parents stepped in very big ways. And there were other situations where students came to school twice a week and they got their learning twice a week in that way. So we knew we had to do something to address that learning loss for specific students. And so we targeted students, we invited them. Parents were very accommodating to share 6 weeks of their summer with us and their children. So we had students in every grade level participate. We had a teacher for each grade level. Special ed was supported. ESL was there as well, supporting their students. We had PE and STEM, so every day the kids had breakfast, lunch, learning, PE, STEM. It was a very engaging time for 6 weeks. And we picked up right where the school year ended. So wherever they were done in reading at the end of the school year, it was 6 more weeks just carrying that on. So we're so thankful to have that extra 6 weeks to fill in some academic gaps.
That's excellent. Now, do you feel that you're seeing a difference from that program as the students have now transitioned to the next grade level?
I do. I definitely feel like just having, and there's a thing in education called, which I know that you're an educator, but a summer slide. And so even to help students to not have the summer slide of a learning loss as well, to be able to come back to school. They were in school 6 weeks over the summer and they had about 4 weeks at home. So definitely it made a difference.
That's great. That's awesome. So are there any additional instructional programs or support that you have at Yowell that have been provided from the federal pandemic relief funding?
There are. We learned lots of things through COVID, and one of the things was online programs. We had to think about what we do and how we do it differently. So to support kids at home, there were some online programs that we started to use that we really didn't want to get rid of, but they cost a lot of money. And so to have this grant to continue on, there's one that parents, if your parents at home, they certainly have heard of, I'm sure, Reflex Math. And it's just a program to build automaticity with addition and subtraction, multiplication and division. And the kids are playing a game and they don't necessarily realize that they're learning their math facts. Of course, they realize it's a math-based game, but the idea that they're playing a game, it's super engaging. There's one for fractions as well. So we've really tried to weave in the pieces from COVID with the electronic pieces to engage students, and having this grant money to fund these programs has been huge.
Great. Well, that's excellent. Now, the academics and the instructional piece is important, but we also have seen an impact in our students' social, emotional, and mental health from the pandemic. I know that we have implemented some wellness programs to support our kids. What do you have going on in that area at Yowell?
There is a lot going on, and we're really trying hard to rebuild skills in kids. I'm a mom of 3, and COVID was hard. It was hard on our kids, depending on their age and where they were in life. You lost the Chick-fil-A playroom where you go in and you take turns on the slide, and so coming to school, and we have to teach the skill, taking turns or being at birthday parties and just communicating and being in different spaces. So the school is trying to find ways to support students. One is Girls on the Run. It is a nonprofit program, but it takes girls and they work on building individual skills, empowering these young girls, working in a team collaboratively. And at the end, they do a 5K, but the focus isn't the 5K. It's every week you're going to run a little bit more. You're going to try something a little bit harder just to empower them and see that they can do hard things. And it just takes work and effort. Another one is State Climb here in Culpeper. Our 4th and 5th graders are going to State Climb.
Okay.
And it's a great space for students to have physical activity, and they might not even realize that that facility is in our community, but by taking all the 4th and 5th graders in the school division to that space, that they can see, hey, this is a place that I can go and be active right in my own community.
That's great. And I know that that is one of the goals of this program, these wellness programs, is to let our children see these things are here and you can do these. You can ask your family to take you back. I know in our high schools, we've been taking our 10th graders to Lake Pelham. We've taken students to Verdun through this same program. So that's excellent. Recently, we've added another component of the ESSER 3 funding for before and after school clubs. And I know that there's some exciting club activity at Yowell Elementary.
There are. This is one of my favorites. I'm so excited about this. To be able to say to teachers who are constantly giving back and doing, whether it's through a grant or not, they want to do. And to say to them, hey, pitch an idea to me. We want to have a club where kids can collaborate and communicate together and engage with one another. What do you want to do? And these teachers have shown up in big ways. We have a STEM club our gifted teacher is doing with 15 students. They stay after school. They are doing different experiments and STEM-based activities that is super exciting. We have a sports club, and it's our PE teacher and an aide, but they do, football, basketball, soccer, all the different sports. They do a fort building activity, which we have a set of woods behind Yowell, and they go back in the woods, they build forts, just getting kids outside, being active, exploring our spaces is a ton of fun. The Washington Capitals are going to come in and teach them street hockey. So that's one of the units that they're going to do as well. And finally, we have a drama club for the first time. Over 112 students have signed up for this drama club. We're going to put on the show 101 Dalmatians Jr. So there's acting, there is singing, dancing, choreography, stage crew. So of our students are working with our art teacher to build the sets, paint the sets, and then those students in turn are going to be the backstage crew. I am thrilled to have this funding to be able to pull off these projects for our students. It is completely exciting. Our students are excited, and so is our staff.
Well, that sounds great. Now, will this show be something that's open to the community to come and to see?
Potentially. We're working on that because, as I said, it's over 100 students that are participating, and our gym is only so big. So we're working out the kinks of how open we can make this. We want to make sure that their parents and families and grandparents can come and see it. But we are thrilled to have this show.
Well, that's excellent. So definitely watch CCPS social media
For sure.
at CCPS YES for Yowell Elementary to see these things in action. Well, that is great. Was there anything else you'd like to add or share about what's going on at Yowell?
I think one thing that we didn't get to talk about the grant is that there's a $1,000 bonus coming for our staff, which is such a blessing. Our staff works incredibly hard every day in filling in the gaps of all the things. I just can't even articulate and put into words appropriately how hard this staff works and what a blessing it is to have this $1,000 bonus come to these staff members is so important and just so thankful to have. So I'm tickled for our staff to have this little bit of extra funding to whether they spend it on wellness for themselves, whatever they want to do for their family is so amazing.
Yes, I agree. That is great. And hopefully we can show our staff just how much we appreciate them and everything they do, because they do so much each and every day. Well, that is great. Thank you so much for being a part of Accent on Education. And I look forward to seeing all of the exciting things happening at Yowell Elementary this year.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you for joining us today on this episode of Accent on Education. We look forward to having you join us next time.